So let's continue with part 2 of the history of Italy. And here, Venice and Genoa flourished by trading with the Byzantine Empire in Constantinople and the Islamic Mediterranean world. The papacy relocated to Avignon in France in the 14th century as the Black Death decimated Italy's population. Where did this come from? Well, actually, it arrived on the trade ships of Genoa. Constantinople, the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, fell to the Ottomans in 1453, and the intellectuals fled west, carrying with them priceless ancient texts. Venice was now the dominant financial centre in the 14th and the 15th century. As central and southern Italy remained poor, Rome abandoned in ruins, and the Papal States lawless. Fueled by all this trade, the Crusades, the Renaissance popes, the Renaissance now spread across Europe, originating from Tuscany, moving into Rome between the 14th and the 17th century. There were developments in the arts with Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Architecture, literature, science, classics and political theory. I've got videos on this if you're interested in this area. The Tuscan regional language spread with Renaissance literature of Petrarch and Giovanni Boccaccio. Pico della Mirandola described how humanity could shape their own destiny. Baldassare Castiglione defined courtly behaviour, and Niccolò Machiavelli's Prince reviewed political theory. The 16th century was brutal. Rome was sacked in 1527 and Florence under a siege in 1529. Italy's population, its industry, all collapsed due to this constant fighting. The Habsburg Spain rulers of Sicily, Naples and Milan bled southern Italy and Sicily for resources to pay for its military campaigns. Southern Italy saw uprisings against foreign misrule, seeking independence and land reform. The plague again devastated northern Italy in 1630 and the Kingdom of Naples in 1656. The Spanish Habsburgs rebuilt buildings in a Sicilian Baroque style of architecture after devastating earthquakes in Sicily. They also introduced, importantly, the tomato, as well as playing cards, which are still in use today. Papal power resisted the Protestant teachings in the Counter-Reformation. It challenged the new ideas of new humanist thinking, which challenged its authority. Indeed, both Pico della Mirandola and Galileo were prosecuted for heresy. The Republic of Genoa infamously sold Corsica to France in 1769 to pay off its debts, at a time France annexed large parts of Italy. Napoleon conquered most of Italy between 1797 and 1799, and he primarily wanted to dislodge Austrian control. He was welcomed as a liberator, but set up French-leaning republics. The Cisalpine Republic was bound to France. The Veronese Easter of 1797 was an unsuccessful revolt against the brutal French occupation. During the 17th and 18th century, rich families and aristocracy toured around classic sites in Italy, accompanied by a tutor, an early gap year. This tour typically took in the classics, as well as some debauchery in Rome, Venice, Florence and Naples, and this included Goethe, Lord Byron, Mark Twain, Turner. They broadly followed the earlier pilgrimage path Via Francigena. After Napoleon's defeat, the Congress of Vienna in 1814 restored European monarchies and powers back to that of 1795. So this meant Austria, the Papal States and the Bourbons were again ruling Italy. Nationalistic and republican sentiment had swept across Europe as a result of the French Revolution. This nationalistic sentiment in Italy had survived Napoleon's invasion. Between 1815 and 1835, many uprisings demanded Italian unification. Alessandro Manzoni's work I Promessi Sposi, The Betrothed, echoed this sentiment, as did the song Il Canto degli Italiani, the Song of the Italians, whose lyrics were written by patriot Goffredo Mameli, and this would later become the Italian national anthem. Italian unification required a defeat of three things: the Austrian and the Habsburg occupation, and the resistance of Pope Pius IX, who wanted to avoid any impact to the Papal States. The Carbonari, a revolutionary group, failed to assassinate Napoleon III in Paris in 1858 for failing to support Italian unification. The leaders of Italian unification, Giuseppe Mazzini, Giuseppe Garibaldi, Count of Cavour, and King Victor Emmanuel II, all agreed to oust the foreign forces, but they did not agree on what Italian unified state would replace them. In 1861, Garibaldi's Risorgimento, unification of Italy, united the peninsula under King Victor Emmanuel II of Piedmont, Sardinia. The kingdom was renamed Kingdom of Italy. The Kingdom of Italy was poor, heavily indebted, hungry, and struggled to deal with strong foreign powers like France, the Austrian Empire, and Great Britain. The Papal States flatly refused to join the Kingdom of Italy, creating the Roman question. Garibaldi was in for a shock. His hometown of Nice was annexed to France in return for French support, and this led to the Nicene Vespers between 1871 and 1872. Italy annexed Venice and Rome in 1870, but eyed further Terra Irridente. This was Italian-speaking territory under foreign occupation, and this included Trentino Alto Adige and the Julian March. The Piedmont government struggled to govern the south, which was very different in terms of history, culture, and language. Transport links were poor, food production low, and businesses survived through tariffs. Unemployment and crime were rife. Italy's capital regularly moved from Turin in 1861 to Florence in 1865 and to Rome in 1870. Democracy and health care reforms were undermined by parliamentary stalemate and corruption. Authoritarian leader Francesco Crispi sought to make Italy a world power, and he signed the Triple Alliance in 1882 with Austria and Germany. Sadly, Crispi's rule led to a trade war with France and disastrous campaigns in East Africa, and was not without scandal. Late 19th century Italy was saddled with huge debts, unemployment and bankruptcy, particularly in the Mezzogiorno south. The southern question. Basilicata and northern Apulia saw revolts led by bandits Carmine Crocco and Michele Caruso. This disparity between northern wealth and southern poverty would leave a long shadow. Peasants headed north and abroad to the United States and South America from 1880. They were poor, hungry, and seeking work. Life was hard for those who left, as well as those who stayed. Giovanni Giolitti ruled in the early 20th century, and this was a period of protests, strikes, social, democratic, labour reform, crippling state debt, as well as state investment in infrastructure. He developed ties with France, Britain, and Russia, but still eyed land in Libya, the Dodecanese Islands, as nationalists continued to demand Greece and Dalmatia. Great Britain, France, and Russia had secretly offered Italy territory in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Tyrol, and Trieste. The leaders of Italy agreed to join the First World War, the Great War, in 1915. They hoped to unify a divided country, but declared war against their defensive alliance partners, Germany and Austria. Nonetheless, poor farm workers were soon called up to go and fight and abandon their farms. Italy predictably suffered huge losses fighting the hated Austrians during World War I, who were heavily dug in to the mountains. The Austro-Hungarian Empire disintegrated at the end of World War I. Join me for part 3.